Hi guys, Stephen here from Revenant Workshop, and the purpose of this project and video is to see if I can produce a piece of decent, probably industrial slash Necromunda type terrain using just one item, one old toy, and it's going to be this old kid's toy fire engine. And when I say only using bits from this, I mean strictly only pieces from this toy. I'm not going to use any of the normal sort of terrain building Necromunda staples like chains and pipes, and I'm not even going to use extra bits of cardstock or foam core. Nothing that can't be harvested directly from this toy is going to be used. So it's a bit of a challenge to myself to see if I can strictly stick to what's contained in or on this, but I think it'll be fun, and I think I've chosen a good piece to try and do this challenge. It's got lots of cool details. Okay, so I thought I would just take a break, pause there, and have a look at some of the stuff that I've done. Now that I've got a bit of a rough layout of the way I want this to look, I thought it would be useful to look at some of the sort of bits of stuff that I've chopped up and how I've arranged it. Nothing is glued together yet. This is all just sitting, in some cases quite precariously. But yeah, I'm going to just sort of take it apart and have a look at some of the stuff that I've done. So the main building then, as I said at the start, key was to block that up. So I've used that panel to block up the wheel arches on that side. I had initially used this panel to block up the wheel arches on this side, but I realized that I was going to, when I took apart the underside of the fire truck, I realized I was going to have a lot of this sort of thing left over, and I wasn't too sure what I was going to do with it. So I thought, well, if I use one of those bits, that would cover up this pretty well. When I put that on originally, it started to look quite a bit like a fire truck again because of the shape. So I put this little panel over the top, which kind of breaks that up again. So this is looking pretty good. I like this as a building, as a main building. Still have to block up some of these windows, but that's all self-explanatory. The other thing then was cut the ladder down to size, same size as this side panel from the main thing, to go over the top to create a bridge between the two main buildings in this build. I realised when I was doing that it didn't need all of its rungs, and that a lot of those rungs, if they were cut out, would be quite useful elsewhere in the build. What else? So the main cab of the fire truck, I knew it needed change because it was very obviously the cab of a fire truck, so I've cut, there it is. Cut this away, cut the front part of it as well, glued it around this side to sort of break that up. I still need to cover up these windows because they sort of give it away a little bit as well, so maybe use that, I don't know. But at the minute it works well just as the main structure of a derelict building, I think, which is good. The windows then, the screen that came out of this, I'm going to put it on the back here, just to sort of, again, to break up the silhouette a bit of what was obviously a fire truck. And it's like, there are so many of these useful little parts as well, that I think will just be really good sort of greebly details to add on the outside. Then, what else? Yeah. So the main underside of the fire truck, which is this bit, along with where the wheel arches, that. Snapped all these off, used one there obviously, still have this one and a couple of other broken bits that I didn't take apart so sympathetically, but gives me little bits of plastic to play with later on in the build. Took this apart. I'd like to use this to create one raised walkway on this side of this building and one lower walkway here on this side, like this sort of. There's just so much cool detail on the bottom that the only thing I do want to do is this little grate. I want to cut that out because that bit just fits perfectly over that or into that, this, and I just think, yeah, that has to go there, just has to. I was left with loads and loads of parts. This, by the way, I know that's Lego, that was just holding up that bit temporarily. I'm not cheating, I'm not going to use this, just temporary. But yeah, oh yeah, that was the box on the underside of the truck there. Cut that out, that had housed the little reservoir tank. That's off. And there's so many bits still to use, so that's my main structure. Oh yeah, and this, I was quite proud of this actually. This was the piston system that used to lift up and down the main ladder. So I've glued that in place so that it doesn't move anymore. And I've used two other, these are just blue tacked in for now, but I've used two other bits there to sort of create a bit of a watchtower. And probably what I will do is maybe use this piece to create some line of sight blockers up on this watchtower, or something like that. I'm not sure, but I have so many bits still after having put together the main structure, I have so many bits still to use, so loads and loads of stuff to do detailing with, which is great. Lots of tubing, lots of wires, lots of bits. So, I've just made a mess. Hopefully I can remember how to put this all back together. Let's do that now. Glue it all in position. Before I glue that, I really have to remember to spray paint the inside of this black. Yep. Anyway, let's get to it.